Yogyakarta is well known as a cultural city. It is also called the city of tolerance, where many people from different religious backgrounds and ethnicities live side by side peacefully. There are approximately 3.5 million residents living in Yogyakarta. It is home to 10 public universities and 125 private ones. And as such, it is an educational hub with more than 350,000 students.
The Indonesian Consortium for Religious Studies, or ICRS, is the world's only consortium of Muslim, Christian, and secular or multicultural universities in the world. How did something like this start? This is not something that has ever been thought of. Why would universities from such different traditions come together for an interreligious studies program? Well, one thing that has to be understood is that we're not primarily about studying religions. We're about studying the world, the problems that Indonesia and other countries are facing, but in a context of interreligious dialogue. When anything new is born, often it is born out of pain, out of crisis. The ICRS program actually began out of crisis in Indonesia that saw, after the fall of Suharto, the rise of a lot of conflict and injustice, oppression, discrimination, things that were hurting a lot of people. And at the same time, there was a confusion because sometimes religions were not involved in solving the conflicts, but even religious communities were involved in making them far worse. So ICRS grew out of this crisis because there was relationships and trust between religious and social activist leaders from many different groups that had built up over many, many years. The program of ICRS began as an international program that would draw resources, people, ideas from all over the world to together face the problems that Indonesia has to face. Now, ICRS is a PhD program. It's an international program that aims to train leaders. We want to create a program that is of an international standard of quality, that has the highest standards of academic and financial integrity, and that is producing resources, written resources, media resources, human resources, of people and resources that can help transform Indonesian society to become a society that is stronger.
Kenapa UIN Sunan Kalijaga terlibat di ICRS? Karena memang ICRS ini sejalan dengan filosofi UIN. UIN Sunan Kalijaga sendiri adalah sebagai satu lembaga pendidikan yang sangat mempromosikan pluralisme dan inklusivisme. Oleh karena itu, maka ini sangat sejalan dengan filosofi kita. Karena itu kita sangat mendukung kehadiran ICRS ini. Mahasiswa ICRS juga terbuka untuk mengikuti kuliah-kuliah di UIN untuk materi-materi yang diperlukan. Mereka juga bisa menggunakan fasilitas perpustakaan kami.
We have a long history of relationship with UIN Sunan Kalijaga and also with other institutions of other religions. So the establishment of ICRS is actually not only a formalization of our long-term cooperation, but also a development of that cooperation. So we are very serious in supporting that project. What we can offer for ICRS students and also human resources is not only that we provide lecturers, we also provide our library, and we give access to the ICRS students and lecturers to use our library. We also have centers of research and study. We have the Center for Religious Studies here, centers for peace studies and resolution conflict, also Center for the Feminist Theology, Centers for Business Ethics and Professionalism, and those all units of the university are here to serve the university, the Faculty of Theology, and also for the collaboration project like Icrs.
We are very grateful and very thankful that Icrs has been blessed by many good friends and also support from many parts. And the first development of Icrs is firstly because we are very convinced and that what we are doing is good for the people. So we got a lot of support from various partners and friends, and we've got good students and also staff, also excellent faculty. So this combination are the key factors of why we are growing very fast. We started with very few students when we started 5 years ago, and also with only 2 staff. But now after 5 years, we have 56 PhD students come from 10 different countries, mostly from Indonesia, from Asian countries, but we do have students from Egypt, from United States, from Serbs, from Poland, Singapore, Thailand, the Philippines, and the faculty we do have in combination around 40 faculties. They do have different disciplines, come from different academic backgrounds, such as they are experts on gender studies, on religious studies, on biblical studies, on history, politics, anthropology, social. So within Icrs, we combine the courses from interdisciplinary. So we try in every courses that we do have co-taught by 2 different lecturers. For instance, at the moment we do have gender and religion. The lecturers are from female Muslim, and also her counterpart is from Christian male feminist. So we try to create an atmosphere where the learning atmosphere of the student and the lecturer are at the best.
Icrs is a young institution, but we move faster than we expected. Since 2011, we move forward. We try to use research as a basis of students' education. Last year, with the funding of the Postgraduate School of Gadjah Mada University, we were doing research on Merapi. We have 2 different research related to Merapi. The first one is related to the spirituality of people living in a disaster environment, like in Merapi. The second one is how different organizations involved in helping people and constructing their life after the eruption of Merapi. And also this year, we have research on religion and gender. We try to see how the preaching in the television gave effect to people's mental model related to how construct women in the society.
Yeah, my experience working in Icrs as a staff, like we have this wonderful opportunity that I think it doesn't happen in most of the offices in Indonesia and like in a school. Like I have the opportunity to have, it's called the staff development, where I can like develop myself like to support or to enrich my working experience, my job. And like I was participating in international seminars and also workshop. I presented in the National University of Singapore, like presenting my research on pop culture China, also supported by Icrs. And also 2 years ago, I was selected as the participant for Vienna International Christian Islamic Summer School, which is an amazing experience. Like not only that I am working here in an international environment, but also my experience there in Vienna also enrich my understanding of the world, like which is very useful. And then I can come home and then like it gives me a lot of inspiration to become the agent of peace for the world.
The beauty of teaching the students here is that in the United States, the predominant students are all Christians. So there's a certain narrative that everyone understands and certain assumptions that are taken for granted. Here, when most of the students are Muslims, it forces me to really think deeply about what those assumptions are. And as I voice those assumptions, I find my own fallacies in some of my thinking. And hopefully for the students to be exposed to my thinking, it challenges them as well. So both of us with different worldviews are constantly challenging, pushing, stretching each other's way of thinking. So at the end, not only do the students learn from me, but I also become a student and learn from them.
I entered the ICRS at the year of 2011 based on the consideration that ICRS is quite a very unique program compared with other programs. ICRS has been a very great interdisciplinary studies, especially related to the religious studies. So having theology as the background of my study, I would like to say that ICRS is a very great resource for my further vocation in ministry, especially in doing theology within or amidst the context of Indonesia as a pluralistic society. I've been experiencing the way we build the respectful interactions amongst students who come from a very different religious and ethnic backgrounds.
Coming here, I found that we are exposed to a lot of materials, a lot of conferences. Almost every week we have a forum, a lot of seminars. That makes us we are forced to be open-minded in thinking, but we have to also. And that makes us need to accept the other's perspective, how they think and how they see the world. Not only one opinion or not only our eye. We have to see from their eye also, or using their perspective. And doing that, of course, I discussed or have conversation. It's a useful one with a lot of friends from Christianity, from Hinduism, from Buddhism.
Here in Yogyakarta, here in Indonesia, ICRS, you have some of the most diverse faculty members, some of the richest library resources anywhere in the world to study religion, to study not just Islam in Indonesia, not just Christianity in Indonesia, but to study religions of the world. Students studying religion coming from 10 different countries, 10 different cultures, all together studying the future of this species on this fragile planet Earth that now is so environmentally endangered and endangered by hatreds of misunderstandings, especially religious misunderstandings. That makes ICRS, I think, a very special place. I don't know any other place in the world where the things I've just described can be found.
Well, I think the ICRS is a rather exceptional institute, not just in Indonesia, but in the broader Southeast Asian region. And in many ways, it's a very unusual institute, in the good sense of unusual. The ICRS very quickly pioneered research and policy relevance scholarship on religion in Asia, religion in Southeast Asia, putting it again in a broader framework. This is really exceptional. Even in my country, the United States, there are only a handful of institutes that focus on religion and world affairs and attempt to look at religious change in modern life and modern public ethics and citizenship, try to look at all of these things in a comparative perspective. Yet the ICRS does this in Indonesia. I think it was the first institution to do this. It is without question, in my opinion, the best of any institution doing this in the Southeast Asian region. So it's truly exceptional.
And our hope now, as ICRS has become established with the help of donors from various different organizations, we hope now we can build the power of ICRS to empower Indonesian people to make a real change in Indonesian society.
I hope that in the future, the ICRS especially can really be contributing more to the future of Indonesia as very diverse nation, as a very pluralistic society.
We are very optimistic that the future of ICRS Jogja become an agent, a catalyst, proponent, initiator for this kind of new engagement, where people can understand each other, try to respect differences, and to find what can we do together as students, as a human, because we are facing challenges that regardless of your nationality, of your religious background, we are facing together.